That's why we accept the report by Dr. Hoskins and the Advisory Council on the implementation of national Pharmacare.
Since 1997, the Liberals have promised universal Pharmacare. Trudeau's Liberals also promised universal Pharmacare, yet they just voted down an NDP proposal to do it. So let me break down this story. And there's a lot of dishonesty here, especially or only from Liberals on this issue about why the NDP, in their mind, why their proposal was not possible. It's all BS. I'll break it down here. First, from HuffPost, Bill C-213, the Canada Pharmacare Act, tabled by veteran BC MP Peter Julian, was defeated Wednesday at a second reading by a vote of 295 to 32, with the Conservatives, Bloc Québécois, and the vast majority of Liberals voting against the proposed legislation. The bill won support from two Liberal MPs, Toronto's Nathan Erskine-Smith and New Brunswick's Wayne Long, as well as Ontario Tory MP Ben Lobb. 3 Green MPs and 2 independents, including Jody Wilson-Raybould, also voted in favor of the bill. Just a little shout out here. Occasionally, there are some good Liberals. Smith is basically, a member of the NDP. I would say that, but he's somebody who is consistently very progressive on these issues. I'm not really sure why he's even a Liberal MP, but you see here how it broke down. Liberals voting against universal Pharmacare, even though they promised once again to do it. Now, let me show you some of their excuses as to why. Andy Fillmore here, who's a Liberal MP, says, how much did the NDP Pharmacare bill commit to spend on Pharmacare? Answer, an egg. I guess he means 0. That should tell you what you need to know about their efforts to mislead. Now, speaking of misleading, this is incredibly misleading as private member bills can't commit to spending funds. Of course, Andy's not going to tell you that. This bill was just the first step in the process. NDP MP Matthew Green tweeted out in response to Andy saying, looks like either Andy didn't read the bill or he's acting terribly in bad faith here, knowing that this bill was the first step as per their own Liberal Pharmacare report by former Liberal Minister of Health, Dr. Hoskins. So which one is it, Andy? Your constituents aren't stupid. But Andy apparently is treating his constituents as morons, as he himself, back in 2019, October, tweeted out, a re-elected Liberal government will implement national universal Pharmacare so that all Canadians have the drug coverage they need at an affordable price. Hashtag Halifax. Once again, Liberal lies. Moving on. Here's another argument that was brought up here. The reason the NDP put forward the Pharmacare bill they did today is for political gain, not because the proposed act is workable. Pharmacare cannot be imposed on provinces. It must be developed in conjunction with them because Constitution. But they know that. Hashtag Canadian Poly. More BS here. That actually is not true. This is wholly inaccurate, as James Hudd here, of Leap.org, tweets out, this is wholly inaccurate and misleading. Healthcare is both provincial and federal. This is literally how Medicare works. The bill is modeled on the same principle as the Canada Health Act, which offers funding to provinces to implement a program. Let's go even deeper into that BS. Kiana here, who is the co-chair of Canada's Young New Democrats, tweets out, anyone who thinks the federal government can't legislate Pharmacare similarly to the Canada Health Act is welcome to DM me and I'll send them my first-year constitutional law notes. The provincial jurisdiction argument is an inaccurate, cowardly excuse that limits access to life-saving meds. She goes on here to say, more directly, Fed spending power is in the Constitution. The Canada Health Act is federal. It's basically transferring money to provinces with strings attached. The power to provide services or to turn down the money is still provincial. Would be the same for pharma. So all of the excuses here that Liberals are throwing out as to why they cannot support the NDP proposal is just complete BS. Now, the question arises, why then didn't Liberals support this? If they apparently support universal Pharmacare, nothing wrong with the NDP proposal here, why didn't they support it? Well, lobbying at least plays a piece of this. So, of course, lobbying a huge issue in Canadian politics. Since the launch of the Liberal government's Advisory Council for the Implementation of National Pharmacare in February 2018, Pharmaceutical and insurance industries have ramped up their efforts to maintain the status quo, as revealed in a 2019 report by the Canadian Federation of Nurses Unions. They have exerted influence through lobbying and advertising, enlisting industry-linked think tanks to spread their message and pouring millions of dollars into cash-strapped patient advocacy groups to sway their positions. A search of the lobby registry by the Council of Canadians revealed that just in the last year, federal officials had at least 443 contacts from representatives of the pharmaceutical industry, private insurers, and pharma-funded patient advocacy groups. In the same period, CFNU, one of the strongest voices for Pharmacare, had only 17 such contacts. So, the lobbying here, 443 to 17, clearly plays a piece. But also, just generally, liberals lie. They have promised Pharmacare since 1997. 1997. Where is it? How often do liberals need to be in power to deliver on this promise? Once again, just a complete BS lie, a broken campaign promise from Trudeau's liberals.